Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be reviewing the painting, The Garden of Earthly Delights. Now, you have to understand that this painting was made between 1490 and 1510, okay? And it's in Madrid. If you live anywhere near Madrid and you haven't seen this painting, please go and see it in person the next time you can get out of town, because I can only tell you it's very special. And Pablo Picasso's Guernica is in Madrid as well, along with a lot of other things. But this is in Madrid. And I mean, just the fact that this painting exists back then, this is like, in my opinion, this like blows Dali out of the water 500 years before Dali, you know? So we're going to start with this panel over here. It goes, for some reason Wikipedia is not letting me load the full thing, but, so it goes heaven, earth, the garden of earthly delights, and then hell. So the idea is that here's creation, and then the most common interpretation of this painting is that this is the heavenly realm. This is the garden of earthly delights. And by indulging in the garden of earthly delights, by indulging in the things that we're going to look at that are depicted, sin basically, you end up being punished in hell for indulging in the garden of earthly delights. So basically, creation led to sin, which led to damnation. And I think that if that's what the artist intended, like, to me, here's how I think about it. That very well may be what the artist was thinking about. Bosch was his name. But we can think about what the Garden of Earthly Delights is depicting. That's what I'm most interested in, is what he's depicting here, because it's crazy. And no matter what the overall intent of the author was, which is like, you know, if he was trying to if this was just like a moralized kind of thing, then it's not as interesting as if it is some like philosophical statement of some kind. But it was painted in a religious context. However, I think that, you know, while I was here, it was like, whoever painted this is clearly on drugs, said one of the ladies in the museum when I saw this painting in person. She said, whoever made this was clearly on drugs. There's no other way. And I'm thinking, man, like, if he wasn't on drugs, like, how could someone ever paint this? So yeah, that's the common academic interpretation. If that's true, it's not very interesting. But we can look at it because the painting is interesting. Now, the creation panel is the least interesting of the three. It just depicts, presumably, you know, Jesus, or the Lord and Savior with Adam and Eve. It wouldn't be Jesus, it would be God the Father, I suppose, with Adam and Eve. Is there a serpent? This is as close as we're going to zoom in. I do not see a serpent located there, actually. If that's the closest we can zoom in, I'll zoom in obs a little more. There we go. And that should be Adam and Eve, however. And you can see the insane amount of detail, guys. So this thing is about as big as, like, it's like probably like 5 feet tall and then like 6 feet long. So the amount of detail is insane. Trust me, like, the amount of skill needed to draw this detail and stuff is insane. Like, drawing water, and then, like, Every time I look at this painting, I find things that I've never seen before. Like, literally, I've never noticed that this is a whale thingy. And then this is like a platypus-like thingy. Did they know about platypuses back then? No, they didn't. Bosch didn't. I don't think. Not back then. Here's a unicorn. I never noticed that either. Pretty early to be depicting like a unicorn, whale, mermaid thingy. There's somebody in it. I never noticed that either. A human-like figure. That's just the creation panel. Like I said, the least interesting. And then look at this fountain. Like this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of fountain that I'm talking about. Look at this dog. That's a pretty messed up dog, wouldn't you say? It's only got 2 limbs. This is these are unicorns drinking. This was painted, guys. If you just opened your eyes and saw this, you would guess it was a Salvador Dali painting or something. Or even later than that, like a post-Dali. This is from 1490 to 1510. And the artist is so obscure that we don't even know exactly when it was painted. And exactly how old he was. This is crazy. If he wasn't on drugs, how did he make it? I don't know. Because he was living in a world where nothing like this had ever been seen. He saw it in his dreams only. And so, you can get almost like spiritual about this painting. I met people. I was told about this painting by somebody who was very spiritual about it. And he believed that Bosch saw something in his mind that allowed him to sort of paint these things that nobody had ever seen. And I won't go into like that person's spirituality because it's their own, but there's a lot of ways to interpret this painting and have it mean something to you. For me, I just want to know how he made it. I just want to know how somebody could have thought of this from his time period. Like, how can it be so unlike anything that was painted for so long? Like, it's not like anything before it, and it's not like anything after it. So what was going on? Like, I just want to know. I just think it's curious. Of course, I don't believe in, like, the supernatural, but I do believe in, like, this is about as close as to divine inspiration as you can get painting this. We have this effigy over here that has birds flying out, going through and through again. Look at that. Look at how it's formed. That fountain is beautiful. Now we'll move on to the most interesting painting. This is the Garden of Earthly Delights. Now, as you'll notice, all the figures are nude. You see? They're lustful. They're having sexual relations and all kinds of things going on here. And they're just lollygagging and playing and indulging in earthly delights. This is the Garden of Earthly Delights. So we'll go with some of the larger figures that you can see in the front here. You can see the amount of detail is just unbelievable. Oh yeah, we have one black, dark-skinned person, one black person in the painting. Interesting also for the time period. Oh, there's another black person there. That's a more poorly aged depiction. Now, if you're looking at, there's some obscenity depicted. These people are clearly having sexual relations. This is obscene. That's obscene. There's things inserted. There's multiple scenes where there are things inserted into the rectum of a person. This is close, but no, not exactly what I'm talking about. There's another black person. These characters are interesting because the black characters, as far as I remember, are only in the foreground. Oh, there's some here too. But it's interesting because, like, the dark-skinned ones are jet black and then the white-skinned ones are white. This was a Dutch person, so he would have known of black people, obviously, from that. But so early, I don't know how familiar, you know. Oh, there's something new that I haven't noticed. This gorilla. Oh, it's not a gorilla. It's like some... It looks like some kind of god figure effigy. I mean, look, and then there's like an arthropodic beetle there. That's like an armadillo type thing. That looks like a demon armadillo. It's so detailed, it's hard to even zoom in far enough. So I'll just stop it here with just the first panel. And then if you want to look at it closer, I mean, like, we can cover the things that are easiest to see, and then I'll do a better, once I can figure out, Wikipedia is not letting me zoom in. But, oh, here's a rectum image here. Oh no, there's nothing in that person's rectum. They're just mooning the camera. Yeah, I want to find some of there's so many wild scenes in this thing that it's hard to even describe, like, how wild it is. It does not belong in the millennium that it was made in. The things depicted are just so... Look at... Oh, yeah, I love this dancing owl people. Dude, do you guys want, like, just, like, one surrealist image? Like, this is, like, one of the coolest pieces from it. Look at that. As, like, a god figure, you know? Like, on your server roleplay. Like, or, like a roleplay server for some video game. Something like that. Just cut this out. Look at that. How's that for, like, an owl god? I mean, like, that's just one little piece of this thing. Look at it. It's unbelievable. There's someone in there. There's angels. We got a flying fish in the sky. It's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Got those animals. Beautifully drawn birds. Those are really well drawn birds. Oh my gosh, that's a European goldfinch. I had one of these birds. They looked the same back there. Mine was named Marat, after Jean-Paul Marat, because he liked to bathe. Marat is in this painting. Wow, those look exactly the same today. Exactly the same. Wow. Goodness. Goodness, I did not expect to find my bird painted in here. I'll briefly show the hell scene. It's my least favorite just because it's terrifying. You have this guy getting eaten by some chicken-like demon thing and then getting pooped out into a tar pit that demons are eating out of and playing with or whatever, and there's people in there. This is the punishment phase, I suppose. And then, like, you know, that's some abusive rectum scene with a demon nape going in or tongue going in. Yeah, a demon's tongue going in. You got this thing. A lot of monsters and demons. See, getting devoured and stuff like that. I mean, like, what the hell? So yeah, this painting's really something, everybody. Oh, look, this guy didn't like rabbits because he put a rabbit in hell. It's like, yeah, look, guys, look, there's this demon eating chicken thingy. There's these like devouring evil things, and then there's a rabbit, and people are like, oh my god, a fucking rabbit. It's like, yeah, rabbit. And also, not to mention a little demon thingy with hands, for trees for hands, that wraps you up and apparently like starts to eat you. But also rabbit. Whoa. And a dice for some reason. See, you learn so much about like what existed back then. Like they had six-sided die in the 1500s Netherlands. I didn't even know that. Am I an idiot for knowing that? Have six-sided die like that look exactly like modern ones been around since for thousands of years? Maybe I'm an idiot for not knowing that. But just by looking at this, it's like, oh, they had these birds, they had six-sided die, they had, I mean, this painting's crazy. I don't know what else I can say. These people have blue butts for some reason. This is probably my favorite little cutout. Oh, here's the rectum scene was glaring me in the face the whole time. There it is. Look at that. That's obscenity if I've ever seen it in my life. Like, you can't even, that wouldn't even fly. That makes this painting not even rated PG-13. This is like rated R now. And it was put up in a church because it's meant to depict sin, obscenity and sin. But it's also meant to depict whatever this is meant to depict. You know? I mean, like, wow. This is the kind of architecture I'm incorporating into my sci-fi. Because it's just like the coolest architecture ever. Ever. You can make it even cooler and like high tech, you know? Cool. I guess I'll take a break here and make a part 2 later some other time. Thanks, everybody. Look it up. The Garden of Earthly Delights. Hell yeah.